Let me introduce to you guys some tips of ZBrush. The first tip that I'm going to show you is the use of the pinch and demi standard to create some shapes. It's important for our character to have the good base before starting at details, and to help us to create this shape I use pinch and demi standard to create some geometrical areas. When the mesh is in the low level like this, I like to use pinch because, as you can see, you can create some hard edges while the mesh is in the low level, because pinch not just create these hard edges but proximity the vertices in the mesh, as you can see here. So it's perfect to use when you're modeling the low poly mesh inside ZBrush now, and your meshing have more resolution. I like to use the demi standard brush because you can create the hard edges in the same way of the pinch, but without changing the topology, without proximity the vertices. The standard is better in this case because you just change the volumes of the mesh, while the pinch and created some areas with less density of vertices, and this can be a problem while you are doing some details because we have too much distance in this edge, and not to have and you not have the same amount of vertices in the near areas of this edge. If I use the smooth brush to create an area like this, and after that I pass the brush in the near area, we can create two areas, flattening areas here, and sometimes when you need to create some hard edges, it's better to use this move tool, but without pass the smooth brush in the add, you create a hard edge. If you pass the brush here, you lose the hard edge, but if you maintain, but you can create a hard edge just using smooth. And sometimes in the future you can notice that I use this technique to create some shaped areas. Another brush that I use a lot, it's the polish. In this case I am using the H polish. You can create the same effect of the smooth as well, creating some hard edges. But sometimes when I modeling, instead I use this smooth, I use it polish to clean my mesh. And the advantage of this, mainly for when you are modeling organic stuff like a face, a hand or a body, that you maintain the brush marks in your model, and this can help you in the future because your model looks more organic and less like a doll. Because if you notice here, you remove all the imperfections of your model using smooth, but with polish some of the imperfections is still visible, and that's good because this type of imperfections turn your model more natural. This is a very useful tip that I can show to you. I use the transpose tool as a scale ruler, And how I do that? I just place my transpose gizmo here, as you can see, and change the calibration distance. As you can see, I set up my transpose gizmo to 1 unit, but if I change to 3, you can notice these divisions in my gizmo. So right now, I know this distance has 3 units, and I can use this to measure if my head have the 2 units of size in the width. You can find this option here, going to Preference, Transpose Units, and Calibration Distance. As you can see, I set up my user interface to have this option here to easily change the calibration of my transpose gizmo. When you are trying to verify if it are proportions of the head or the body and other parts of our character, it's inside the proportion bruise. You can notice that I use this technique. Still talking about the transpose. Tool. We can notice we have this transpose line here with 3 cycles and another cycle here in the tip of the line, and we have your X gizmo in the first cycle. If we click in the first white circle here in the middle of the axis gizmo part, you're starting to clip your mesh. If you click in the circle in the middle of the line gizmo, you move your geometry. And finally, if you click in the circle in the tip of the line, and finally, if you click on the white circle in the tip of the line, you're starting to start your model. It's useful when you want to just change the scale in one direction, like this. Now, the orange circles, it's used to change the position of your tool. And if you click on this white circle here, you put the axis gizmo in the center of your geometry. And clicking in the axis gizmo, you change the orientation of the line gizmo as well. Sometimes working with thin geometry can be a problem while you are modeling on one side of the mesh, like this, using any of the brushes. The brush can affect the back side of the mesh. To avoid this, you can do the back face masking. As you can see, the back side was not affected by the brush. To find this option, you can go to Brush, Auto Masking, Backface Auto Mask. To make a better use of the reference image, I like to use the spotlight. You can add an image to spotlight, just import the image in here, select them, and click and add to a spotlight. You can position your image, go to fade, press Z, and have a good position image, and have a good position image, and start modeling over there. Sometimes can occur you miss to turn off this symmetry and start modeling without symmetry. To fix that, you have two options. If you do in the left side of your model, you can go to deformation, mirror, modify, mirror and out. Now I have a totally symmetric model. Now I have the symmetry again in my model. And if we start model on the right side, just press mirror and out, and again you have symmetry in your model. Two tools that can create a mess are the trim curve and the clip curve. Some people think they work like the same, but in the truth, the trim tool cuts your model, removing the mesh and create a new polygroup, as you can see here. He cuts the geometry, creating a new topology and closing with a new polygroup. But the problem is this tool that don't work on the symmetry. To do the same effect of the trim curve and that work on the symmetry is the clip curve. So what's the problem with the clip curve? The problem with the clip curve is this tool don't cut the model. This tool just flatten the area, and that can be a problem if the cutted part is bigger than the mesh. I will show you an example right now. I will modify this and try to cut here, and look what happened. Create this bar here, and you need to start to cutting to remove and not to looks good. So every time to use the clip curve, have sure the cutted part is not bigger than your mesh, or you create this bar here. And remember, the clip curve, it's not a cut tool like the trim curve. It's a flatten curve. It's a flatten tool, as you can see here.